All right, guys. Hopefully everything's working all right.
Lee,
you there?
Yeah, man. It's good.
All right, guys. Here it is. Very first episode of this series, Bradcast, the title Brad podcast. Not going to be doing it regularly. I'm Brad Britton, North American title. Here in San Diego, California, specifically Carmel Valley on High Bluff, 12707 High Bluff, with my good friend Lee Sanudo here. We grew up together, and I'm going to tell you a quick story about him. But real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you how to do a podcast. And then we're going to talk about if you should or should not do a podcast, specifically for real estate agents and similar businesses. So, Lee, dude, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, buddy. Good to see you.
Absolutely. It's crazy how far we've come. I've known you a long time.
Yeah, man.
And what kind of got me inspired to talk about this was that hot boxing with Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, your
podcast. So you kind of kicked it off. You had the Caddyshack pod there with Max MacArthur, and you had some pretty good success there, right? And learned a lot, and it was freaking funny, man. It was funny.
I don't know how successful we were, but we were successful in having a good time.
You're pretty successful. So
the good thing I think was that we came out of it just learning how to get quality audio, record quality audio. We didn't do much video. We were doing some stills and stuff like that. So this is a little bit new to me, linking up with the Zoom, which I think in this day and time, Zoom is, everybody's using it every day. So if we can help people navigate that space even further, I think it's just, it's a win.
Well, I think on Zoom, it's clear you got to have microphones and all that makes it so much better. So, but hey, let's talk about this. So you're in insurance, you're full service insurance brokerage, and but you have a new innovative concept, right? That's pretty new. I want to hear about it, and if you were going to take it to the podcast world, how you would do that. So tell us about your insurance edge, and then tell us your podcast tips, please.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I joined the team at Click to Bind Insurance in January, and we just launched an integration with mortgage software. So when someone's processing a loan, they need insurance, they are one click away. We handle all of it. It's really just makes it more concise and streamlined for the users.
So if I go online and I apply for a loan and they're going through the app and they're about to refinance my house, you're telling me that they don't have to shop for insurance at that point because you're tied into the software.
Exactly. The LO just hits the button, populates their whole system instantly. So it's all tied together, and we just need to kind of
click to bind. Got it. Makes perfect sense. Fantastic. Yeah. So it's going pretty well for you guys?
Yeah, it is. Given the hard times, we launched our product literally last Wednesday. So with all going on in the world, I think a lot of people are just kind of not forcing the issue, just hunkering down. So.
Well, it's a tough time. So, and kind of crazy with what's going on. So I don't know if people are trying to take on new vendors at this point, but I'm sure you'll be successful. So, tell us how the basic steps of how to launch a podcast. If I was a real estate agent, I want to do a podcast. Let's say I want to talk about Del Mar on a regular basis and activities in Del Mar, California, which we used to go down to the beach in 17th Street and tear it up.
We're pros at that. We could
absolutely. So tell me how you would talk podcast with about Del Mar, California, if you were a real estate agent, something like that.
Yeah, the first thing I think you got to realize is that if you're targeting an area like that, and you're going to be the realtor in Del Mar, right, then it's going to be really important to get in front of people who live in Del Mar, right? So you can be hyper focused and have all your content built around that little piece, but in making sure it doesn't mean you can go. The thing is, I hear people like Gary Vee's like, turn on your phone, record it. There's your podcast. Yeah, that does work. And if you want to start that way, that's fine. But you're not going to build a listenership because people can't listen to that, for an extended period of time.
No, we're going to get into that because I'm going to talk about why you shouldn't podcast. You're going to talk about why you should.
Okay.
And
I'll take
in a little bit, huh?
I'll take my stand.
You take my stand. Yeah, exactly. So we're like Wilbon and Tony over here on Pardon the Interruption. So
love it.
If someone was going to launch it, get in front of people, plan to get followership by what high quality equipment. So what's if somebody wanted to just start quick, what would they do? Not a phone.
No, I would honestly go to your local music shop because those guys understand audio, right?
Right.
And you walk into, I want to do a podcast. They've talked to people like you before. This is your bare bones. This is your next tier. This is if you really want to go crazy with it. So, that's where I would go to the pros and let them guide you. Now, right now with that's going on. I don't think music stores are open. I don't think that's considered an essential service. So, you know, you can see the mic I have is different than the one that you have, right? Yours is, you know, very nice. It's stable. I was doing podcasts in a bag, so that's why this one works. It's mobile, but both create really good sound versus talking into your phone or talking into your computer. It's going to be echoey, right? So you want to get a room that is small, that is carpeted, low ceilings help, right? So think about acoustics. And you know, talking into this, like, you know, right on the microphone, you can see I'm right on it. You know, with this type of mic, that's what you need. Where yours, you can be over here, but you can't hear me.
Can't hear it.
So it's such a big difference in just learning the audio piece of it. And then, you know, the funny part is I'm doing one for Click to Bind, and I'm setting everything up literally today, right? So it brought me back to, okay, what you need a website, a blog, somewhere you can put this thing, right? Otherwise, no one's going to be able to listen to it. I use GarageBand to record and then write into SoundCloud, which is the easiest way I found. It instantly links up to there, and you don't really need to do much there if you're just trying to share it on SoundCloud, which is very doable. You know, it's an easy app to use. But once you're there, right, and you want to put it on the web and you want to get on iTunes and all these other platforms, then you're going to need to have your RSS feed, which can be generated in SoundCloud or wherever you're hosting your podcast. You need that uploaded to the website. Right. And that's how it works.
Understood. Real quick, let's circle back to, you obviously got that microphone from your brother, right? He's a professional, well-known musician, right? My good friend, Anthony. So you guys worked on collaborating on this stuff, getting together on sound and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. And that's really the only reason I know anything. Yeah. It's that and my other friend, Lee, who had a big video deal. But, yeah, it was funny. So, we were going surfing one day, and I was like, dude, I need to get some microphones for this podcast. He said, oh, here, take 3. He just had them in his truck.
he just practices in the mirror with him. Fantastic.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, hey, I got you a gift.
Come on.
Too bad you couldn't be here today to get it because of this COVID stuff, which is very serious. And that's kind of why we're doing things the way we are.
What do you got? Come on, buddy.
Got them for you. Little upgrade. Actually, these are super affordable on Amazon. I think they were, $45 or something like that. They sound great.
That's amazing.
And got a couple different ports. That's what I'm wearing right here. Dude, and I got these for you.
That brings up a good point about headphones too, right? Like, look at I got these. These are the same ones I've used because they don't have a microphone. There's no microphone attachment.
Right.
If you're going to use headphones, make sure they don't have a microphone because that's going to screw up your audio.
They're super hard to find these days, though. Headphones like that. They got to be studio headphones. That's why it says.
Dude, that's sick. Thanks, man. You're a hero.
So if you see mine, actually, I'll take them off real quick. You can plug in on the right side with the big boy.
Yeah.
Or you can tether with the small one to another set, and so you can link these back and forth with guys. So
those are ideal for podcasting because there's so many times that we were sitting there with multiple guests, and you have to get splitters and run all this stuff. If you can just do it from the headset, that's a win.
If you get the iPhone with the boom attachment on it and the tripod, and maybe a little microphone that you hold, you can do pretty good with that stuff.
Totally.
There's some basic. Okay, great. So you had said that you want to encourage people to do a podcast on a regular basis, like a scheduled episode, almost at the same time every week, right?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do, but I think that if you're serious about it and you want to do it, and actually get listeners more so than just use it for other purposes. Then I think the more, it's just like anything else, the more you practice,
regular, it's got to be regular.
The better you get, right? Yeah, I don't care what you're doing, right? So,
right.
Yeah, I would encourage that. But again, there's nothing wrong with just popping one up here and there when you feel inspired. So,
right. So for me, in the title insurance business, most of my clients are real estate agents, realtors, brokers, lenders, and banks. So sometimes builders and construction. I don't know if those guys are listening to a title rep do a podcast all the time, but they will watch and listen to a title rep talk about something that they know and maybe are an expert in. My lights just went off. Smart building. We got the smart buildings to sensor.
Honestly, I couldn't tell. I could barely even tell. So that's good.
So my plan was to do like a series. So this is, we're talking about doing is a series here of just short podcasts, maybe 15 minutes or so is what we plan to cap it at. The first one, we're going to talk about podcast, why or how. Then we're going to talk about CRMing. Do you use a CRM? Do you use Excel spreadsheet? Do you use Google? Do you use Outlook? Do you use LionDesk? Do you use Zoho? Like, what do you do? Are you in, right? So a lot of real estate agents know that you get LionDesk, a basic version of it free through MLS. through Paragon, any Paragon user, and Lion Desk is based right in Carlsbad, which is pretty cool. And I've been using that, but not to its full capability. So anyways, so as far as podcasting goes, I'm talking about doing a series on those things just a little bit, which people I think like series, just a one-off video on a certain topic, and then you can kind of start and stop as you will. I don't know if anyone's going to be tuning into me on Thursday nights at 4 p.m.
You got to give yourself credit, dude. You're entertaining as hell. You just got to embrace
bro.
it.
It's insurance.
Well, you don't have to talk about insurance. You talk about Brad. Brad's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
And the fact is, I think that's where. I run out of stuff to listen to. I kind of have my 6 or 7 podcasts,
right.
But then once I always want new stuff. So if you're like, oh wait, Brad told me he's got a podcast, I'll listen to that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So I just always want people to be happy that they're tuned in and not just think, man, what a waste of my time. So let's review real quick. So if you're gonna start a podcast, you need good equipment, good enough equipment, a place to put it. If you're going to escalate it, you need to get the RSS feed done, maybe through SoundCloud, something like that. Right.
Yeah.
And then what do you think the main way you're going to attract listeners is on something like that? If you start getting it going,
man, that's just
tough to say, right?
It's just like anything else, it's branding. So the more you post everywhere, the more people are going to know about your stuff. The more active, the more it resonates. And then I think one of the things where we saw the biggest spike in our listenership was when we had a guest who not only really enjoyed with their time, was able to share it to their audience, which might be substantial, right? So
right.
If you get a guest who people care about, you're gonna blow up.
Well, actually, that's one of the crazy things about that hotboxing podcast, right? Like Joe Rogan gets good guests, a lot of these guys do, but it's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, dude.
So like Sugar Ray Leonard comes on and he's mesmerized with Mike.
Right. Everybody's mesmerized by Mike.
Eminem comes on and he's mesmerized with Mike. Right, it's Eminem. Like he's famous, right? Like it's Mike Tyson.
That's Mike Tyson.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's it.
It's hilarious, and he's so humble too.
Dude, he was on. My friend Brett just started a podcast with his dad. His dad, Jimmy Connors, tennis player, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
And they had the very first guest was Mike Tyson. I'm like, all right, you guys just peaked at your first episode. Now every guest after that is just
yeah. Your friend Brett is Jimmy Connors' son, right? I'm sure he gets sick of that and likes it and doesn't sometimes.
Sure.
And it's Mike Tyson.
Right? And it was really
Jimmy Connors, content. Mike Tyson. Jimmy Connors is great, but
it was you have two of the greatest at their sport really of all time.
Yeah.
Sitting at this table talking about stuff.
Yeah.
It was really well done. You got to give it a listen. It's called Advantage Connors is the name of the
Advantage
podcast.
Connors. I'm happy to check it out. Well, cool. Well, so what I'm saying is if I'm a real estate agent and I want to do a podcast,
sure,
and I want to do it regularly, you really have to have a message or have the guests or have the reason to tune in for some tidbits that really make sense. It better be in-depth market updates, something that makes sense. I don't even really think anyone will listen to that.
See, I think you're wrong. I think that's where you're scrutinizing pretty hard, right? And it's subjective.
Okay, fair enough.
What people are going to like. So, like, if I'm the realtor in Del Mar, I'm going to go to all the businesses and be like, "Hey, I'd love to have you on my podcast. I have a podcast about Del Mar.
Good idea.
Let's talk about Pacifica, that place has been there for like 25 years. How come this place is here and Episodes went away? What happened there? What's going on in the local Del Mar? And all of a sudden you're a realtor and people are like, oh my God, this person knows everything about Del Mar. Let's go sit down with a city council person. What's going on with this? What's it going to be developed down here on the cliff? Is it going to erode? Is the cliff going to fall off into the ocean? Like, what's going on?
Right. And so you think if it's interesting to some people, you can get the followership, but you got to reach those people.
No, 100%. And like as a realtor, if I'm going to be geographically focused like that, I think it's a no-brainer because you're just like, hey, why don't you check out? You want to learn about this area you're shopping in? You might want to live in for the rest of your life. Why don't you listen to my podcast? There's 40 episodes about everything Del Mar.
Right. So, all right. So real quick, we're going to just talk about then. So my office is in 92130. I made a proud move back to 92130 after growing up here. And Title Brad is back. Grew up here, went to high school here. You did too. You were, the king of the golf game. Every single person in San Diego County who I say, hey, Lee, Lee used to kick my ass in junior, all the time. Everybody knows it.
And then I got worse.
And everybody knows that we lost to Carlsbad in the semifinals. So, but I'm back. We're back in 92130. You're back in San Diego selling your stuff. So you're in insurance. I'm in insurance. We're insurance salesmen. Let's help each other out any way we can. I'm going to put some of our information on the screen when we get this thing out. And if there's anything you want to add, let's hear it. We're gonna wrap this thing up and get ready for the next episode of Bradcast.
I think we should call it North City West Podcast because that's originally what the 92130 was. North City,
really?
Yeah, North City West, dude. That's what it was called.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Uh-uh.
Where you been? Come on.
Well, so the one Paseo, the brand new one, it's literally probably 1,000 yards from here. We used to ride our bikes there when I was a kid.
That was the best.
They had the little
dude.
tree area. You could kind of hide for a little bit, think you were doing something bad. You weren't. You were on your bicycle. But
good old days, Dad.
Well, cool. Well, got your headphones here. Next time we connect, might be a while.
Hey, yeah,
but
hope not. Hope it's
really appreciate you. Anything else you want to add, bud?
Dude, just thank you, and everybody stay safe out there, and hope this thing passes quick, man. All right, much love.
Thanks. Well, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
All right, bro.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, man.